Hi, welcome to this week astrology report. I am Jody Shirami at astropod_cast. Welcome to the first full week of June. And it is a roller coaster ride this June. We have so much happening. Even last week I told you things were happening so much, and I hope you were paying attention. And if you'd like to comment and leave anything about what I say and how you feel about it, if you have questions, please feel free to comment and ask below. It will also help my algorithm on YouTube. Thank you.
So, today is Friday, June 6th. Thank you for being here. And the big news of this week is the Sagittarius full moon on June 11th at 20 degrees, where it will be squaring the moon's nodes, which are currently in Pisces and Virgo, of access to spirituality and giving unconditionally. So this is really going to be speaking about our spirituality as it runs into the node, and this is a time where we're focusing on our spirituality, especially with Neptune in Aries, in personal spirituality. So it's going to be activating this grand trine that's in the fire signs. Sun in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, which is preparing to enter Cancer. And then Mars in Leo, which is activating our sovereignty, our personal life, and what we need to look at. And then it's going to sextile Chiron in Aries. And Chiron, again, is the personal comet healer. But also someone who's there that's not spoken about a lot is Arizina. Arizina, I've spoken about her before. She is the sister to Mars. So she is also involved with this happening. So Mars in Leo is being ruled by the Sun. The Moon in Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. And then Chiron and Arizina are being ruled by Mars. So there's a receptivity going on here with the 3 points. So this is it, the triangle. And Arizina brings uniqueness. She is about fighting for her rights. She will fight you. And now with her in Aries, with Chiron, they are really pushing us to heal, self-heal, so that we can evolve, so we can leave things behind that we no longer need. And that is going to go right into the hand of Jupiter and Mercury preparing to shift into Cancer. So all this healing is really going to help us with our actions, because Mars again is action. And so this healing from Mars in Leo to Chiron and to the full super moon is really coming from the heart, because Leo is the heart and Cancer is the mothering, the family, whereas Leo is from the heart. The heart of the sun is Leo. And that's what Mercury just did, was went to the heart of the sun and has a Kazemi. And Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is about expanding, about gifts coming in. And Jupiter is very happy in Cancer. So this Sagittarius moon is a spiritual healing time, and it's aligning ourselves with our sun. What does that mean? It means that Mars in Leo is being ruled by the sun. So they're aligning with each other. It's a pretty big deal. It's a purifying energy. It's giving us clarity again, which is the 4 club card. In the Destiny cards is the 4 club, and it bookends Leo season. The first 4 club happens on July, I believe, 20th. And then the end is on my birthday, August 22nd, the 4 club, which is a La Virgo. And then on the other side, it's a Cancer Leo. Cancer Leo, Leo Virgo. So here we go. What is this clarity? This is what the full moon in Jupiter or in Sagittarius is about, is that, as some astrologers are saying, it is a spotlight shining on our inner world. And then Venus is going to jump Chiron also as she prepares to shift into Taurus. So Venus conjuncting Chiron is also healing our individual hearts. And how are we healing ourselves? And who are we healing ourselves from? So these are things that we must learn to respect ourselves, stand in our sovereignty of who we are, which Leos know. And so Leo energy is sharing this, especially with the sun being very active with its solar flares this past week. So really, the universe wants you to respect yourself, love yourself, think about your dreams, what it is that you want. Think about that. The last time that Jupiter is preparing to move into Cancer, which was 12 years ago, what were you doing? What were you thinking? And has any of those wishes come true in the past 12 years? And I would say mine has. So really pay attention to your emotional life and see what is happening here. So on the 8th, which is Sunday, it's a huge day because Mercury will be meeting up with Jupiter before they both shift into Cancer on June 9th. And when Jupiter goes into Cancer, and I'll go back and talk about the Mercury-Jupiter conjunction in a minute. But Jupiter here is going to be holding space for emotional intelligence, the medicine we need to heal ourselves. What stories have we been telling ourselves that we need to change and adjust to the new version of ourselves? Because we're always growing and evolving. Not everyone does that, but really that is the message of the universe, is always evolve, change. You have to honor yourself. You have to heal yourself. You have to give yourself permission to be who you want to be without all the negativity going on in the outer world. So Cancer going into, and so Jupiter going into Cancer is going to help us with all that. And then the next day on June 11th, Wednesday, is when the Sagittarius full moon will be happening. And this is a very volatile full moon because the mother is being exalted, right? Because Jupiter is going into the land of nurturing. Jupiter loves being in Cancer. I can't blame Jupiter being in Cancer and loving it. Because the moon is easygoing, nurturing, wants to give to you. So Jupiter is the same thing. Jupiter wants to give to you, wants everything to be happy. The only problem here is we could love food too much. We could get a little chubby here, all of us in the whole universe. Because right now food is a big deal. As we're coming up against droughts, volcanoes, earthquakes, we always think of food as a nurturing venue for us, right? So this is what might happen here in Cancer. So I definitely have been feeling the Jupiter in Gemini because that is my midhaven. I have been enjoying so much food. So now that this is happening in my 12th house, I know I must lock down on some of those sweets I've been enjoying so much. But after my son's birthday and having some cake, that's where I'm at. The thing with Jupiter and Cancer is you can cause a lot of cults because you are so giving, loving here in Cancer. You might want to start to understand that how things become a cult is when Jupiter is in your moon sign, is in the moon sign where you are very giving, loving, and you might believe things that aren't true. You might get duped. So this is a big one. And a lot of this, again, I'm going to talk about in a little bit, is Jupiter is squaring Saturn for the third and last time here. And Mars in Leo is making us feel happy and giving us celebration of our soul, of who we are and why we're here on Earth, and what are we doing to make ourselves better. So this is what's happening this week. So let's really get into the nitty gritty of what's going on because again, the charts can be confusing, the angles, all these things. But I'm here to help you understand because I'm also learning how to understand it and how it supports my intuition and it can support your intuition. It can also help you to calm down astrology. Astrology, again, a lot of astrologers are former therapists, psychologists, teachers. I'm a former lead in a facility where we're learning how to get along with each other, team lead. And that has been ruined by COVID because a lot of team leading is touching and getting to know each other. And a lot of people that I found when I was team leading, I mean, adults, principals, uh, CEOs, CFOs of companies that would come, and then doctorate students that are becoming doctors, cheerleaders learning to get along better, eighth graders coming to learn how to become responsible slowly as an adult, how we deal with other people, how we deal with angst and things like this. And a lot of it is they bond through little things we give them, little drills. Like the reason that ours was so good in Loyola University up in Woodstock was because we had a climbing apparatus, climbing where you can go up and climb and walk around and be in a harness and learn how to trust each other, like a trust fall, but for real up high. And so if you slip, someone's there to catch you, even though you're attached. Someone is down below, like me, ready to catch you if you're falling down. And that's a trust fall that's really advanced. And so as a team lead, besides feeling what I felt when I traveled around the world to go to Thailand to visit my mom alone, I was alone. I saw a lot of other things happening there, and I've been speaking about it to my family for years and years, like I said last week. So let's get into the nitty gritty of what I was thinking and how it's all coming true. I have been studying the charts all week. And just like last week, there's so many angles that it can get a little bit confusing. And on the 15th of June, next week when I come back, on the 13th, we'll talk about Jupiter squaring Saturn for the last time. And really what's happening this week is going to be balanced by Mercury leaving Gemini. Mercury being Gemini, right? It has been really relaxed, Mercury, and a lot of stuff being said, a lot of things zinging around that it's really difficult to keep up with it. It gets confusing, right? So sometimes you want to just turn off the news, not listen to it anymore. You just want to like, okay, I'm going to go sit in the pool for a while, not think about anything. I'm just going to go lay down and maybe watch TV and not think about anything. Just kind of escape. So Jupiter moving into Cancer is going to give us that ability to kind of, for the next year, maybe have the ability to go within ourselves and process all this new information and what does it exactly mean for us, right? Because there's so many things happening. So starting Sunday is going to get crazy because Sunday is when Mercury meets up with Jupiter as they both prepare to exit into Cancer. So on that day, Mercury is going to be very talkative, has a lot of energy from Jupiter, and then it's going to shift into Cancer about an hour or two before Jupiter follows Mercury into Cancer. So Mercury in Cancer isn't super comfortable here because Mercury likes to move, fast, that thing, that there's no emotions involved, no. But it's going to get halted here, and it's going to move slower than it would want to because it's in water. Mercury is the wind god. It's going to walk on water, really. But you still, even when you're in water, you have to go slowly because it's not frozen water right now. It's the heat of the middle a beginning of summer. Okay? So with Jupiter here, really use that to build up your inner emotional security. Whatever that means for you. If it means getting married, because Cancer is opposite of Capricorn, and Capricorn's the father, and Cancer's the mother, so to speak. But not all Cancers are nurturing. Every time someone's a Cancer doesn't necessarily mean they're loving and giving. They could be the opposite of that, which is Saturn in Capricorn. They could be strict. They can want things to stay the old-fashioned way because Saturn is tradition. And so the mother here could also be very traditional and think that this is what you need to do. You could be overprotective. You could be looking at the other side of the coin of love and being hateful, being spiteful, being greedy. Because you have the moon as your ruler, as the moon shifts around every 3 days, you're also shifting around emotionally. So Cancer people are very up and down, just like your emotions. And most Cancer people I know are actually can be bullies. So, and again, Cancer is a cardinal sign. And as Mercury meets up with Jupiter, Mercury can have some lies, can be telling lies. Right at the very end of Gemini, these degrees of anorectic degrees. So Sunday could be something coming out into the open that shocks the world. It could be something hidden away by leaders, and something comes out from the leader's mouth that we didn't know was there. Something can happen on Sunday that shakes up our world and jars us just enough to where when we go into Cancer season, we're kind of like, holy cow, what just happened? I can't emotionally handle this. I don't even know what to do with myself. And Jupiter and Mercury, by the ninth, are conjunct together in the 0 first degrees of Cancer. The cardinal signs at 0 degrees are the world access points. So the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, right? So Cancer is opposite of Capricorn. Aries is opposite of Libra. These signs, when anything enters at 0 degrees, are entering the world access point, meaning that everyone feels this energy. So everyone's going to feel this Jupiter, which is an outer planet. It takes only 1 year to go around a sign. It stays only 1 year in a sign, so it takes 12 years to go around the sun. So it's a big outer sign, but it's almost like a personal outer sign for all of us. And Jupiter rules over Sagittarius, this full moon, rules over Pisces, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter, its traditional ruler. And Jupiter, again, is very happy in Cancer. So what happens when Jupiter and Mercury enters? Mercury's going to be slow. Your speech will be guarded. You will be protective in your speech, in your communication, because Cancers are protective, nurturing, and also can be very angry. So you have either this Jupiter coming in to help love, help you calm you down, or he can get you excited and you go off the deep end, literally, because Cancer is a water sign, you go off the deep end, or you can lean into the other part of Cancer, which is the negative side, and be very a bully, because you understand emotions or you don't know your own emotions. We are now dealing with the world opening up to us emotionally, and it's going to be a nice, comforting feeling. But all these other things are going to be happening, right? Venus is now in Taurus, and so Venus is also having some actions here that we might not like. Venus being in Taurus is again, could get us chubby because we like food too much. So the combination of this happening, Venus in Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer, could cause some obesity. Or it could cause the world to be so comfortable that the newness that it wants is not good for the world. Like AI. people say don't be afraid of AI. It's not that we're afraid of AI. We're afraid of the people using AI and all the information they get from us through the internet, like Doge going into the Social Security, going into all these divisions of the government, and having access to our very, very private stuff. And there was also a clause in this big, beautiful bill where for 10 years no one can regulate or 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 say anything about AI being built. And I wonder who put that in. I wonder who's actually writing this bill. Have you ever heard any of these people speak? They're absolutely mad geniuses. And we know that this can happen. So the other big thing that's happening is that as Jupiter enters Cancer, uh, it's going to be having some meetups with some other big planets. And I know that sounds so vague, but the real thing we're waiting or watching is that as Jupiter enters Cancer at 0 degrees, it's going to be having a square to Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Now, this square is the big deal. It's going to be perfected on the 15th of June, but it begins this week as soon as Jupiter on the 9th heads into Cancer. And what's going on here is that Saturn and Jupiter have a meetup every 20 years. And halfway through, they're opposite each other. But every 5 to 15 years, they square each other. And the square is a big deal because square is energy inside that can't get out, right? So here we have Jupiter in Cancer versus Saturn and Neptune in Aries, ruled by Mars. And Cancer is ruled by the moon. So here we have the moon, who's, at this point, the moon has moved into Capricorn. During this whole time, we're going to feel it for this whole week until the 15th when it has a meetup that's exact degrees. So as it's doing this, it's going to become very uncomfortable in terms of Jupiter in Cancer is supposed to make us feel loving and nurtured and feel secure and that we have everything we need. But Saturn comes in and says to Jupiter, hey, are you hanging on to, because don't forget, Saturn and Neptune are the first two outer planets that begin this transition that's happening with Pluto in Aquarius also changing things. And these are the three most powerful planets. Starts with Saturn, then goes to Neptune, then goes to Pluto. So when we see this happening, there is something happening that we cannot change. We are merely going to witness it and have to work with it. Now, Jupiter being only a kind of not as slow moving, its energy is quicker in that it only takes a year. But still, this energy is there for a year, and it is now squaring these big, powerful planets. So, because it's in Aries, it has the Mars energy from it, right? And the Mars right now is in Leo. And Mars is going to leave Leo soon, but not yet. So what's really ruling over Neptune and Saturn is the Sun from Leo, where Mars is. So the Sun is our being, who we are, our essence when we were born. We were born with this Sun here. So this is our essence. So with Jupiter in Cancer, and what rules over Cancer? The Moon. And the Moon is in Capricorn. And Capricorn is Saturn. So Saturn here has a little bit of leg up on Jupiter in terms of it's saying to Jupiter, it doesn't really matter how giddy you get, how much ice cream you have, how much family you have, how much nurturing you feel, how much security you have. If the inside of you is insecure and doing bad things to yourself inside your body, It won't matter all this Jupiter love. It's just going to exacerbate that hate that you have inside for yourself. And when that happens, you attack. You leak out. You can't help but show this hatred of yourself with Jupiter here. So that's what's going on, is that even though Jupiter's beneficial and loves being in Cancer because it wants to help you emotionally grow all these things, Saturn's coming in and saying, okay, are you being delusional? Because Neptune's here too. Neptune's saying, are you being delusional about your family? Do you think your family's this? Do you think that? Or are you just seeing in rose-colored glasses, which is what Neptune is about? Neptune is about spirituality. So looking inside yourself, right? But if you're looking outside of yourself at someone else, are you glaringly idolizing them? Like possibly happening now in the world with all these leaders coming in because Mars is in Leo. Are you seeing something that's not really there? Or are you hoping and wishing it was true? So now, here it comes. You have until the 15th to start thinking, oh, is this true? Is this what I think? Is this what I want? Because as soon as Jupiter gets into that correct square to Saturn on the 15th, you're going to start to feel that maybe you were deluded. Or maybe you were correct in your assumptions and what you see in the future, which is where I feel I'm at. I've been doing this for a while. I've been feeling this stuff, this energy, and I am ruled by the Sun, and then Jupiter and Pisces, and then Venus. And Venus is exalted in Neptune. Venus is tripled power in Neptune. So when you see the world and the values, which is what Venus in Taurus will be really showing us also, when you see all these things happening, are you being deluded and thinking, oh, like back in the old days, oh, maybe baby oil is what I need to get a tan. Baby oil will do it. And I remember going to college when I came down here for college in 1985. That fall. I didn't ever really hang around the pool. I didn't really need to get a tan. I wasn't, because I naturally have this color skin. I remember sitting at the pool and watching them put baby oil on themselves because we didn't really have sunblock back then. And someone's like, Jody, put some of this baby oil and you get like that red glow tan going. I said, really? And I thought about it. I'm like, no, probably not. I'll just sit in the shade next to the pool. But I did get into number 15. They had started coming out with some stuff. Hawaiian Tropic, I think, came out with like an oil that was 15. So I put that on. I knew I needed sunblock because coming from Thailand, I knew one thing about the sun is that it really works fast. It doesn't play around. And then all the skin cancer started happening. And now we're dealing with Botox and plastic surgery. I've talked about this in my previous podcast. I have plastic surgery, but I got a nasty car accident. And it was down here in Florida. Now I'm back in Florida. And I had to have plastic surgery. I had to have 500 stitches in the emergency room on my face here. And my girlfriend, one of my best friends, had gotten into a crash. And then later on, now it's been a long, long time since my car accident, maybe almost 35 years now, 35, 50, yeah, about 30, almost 40 years now. And when I look back on it, I can see I was deluded. I could see that in my haste to come out of an Asian home and go socialize with the white people, I was deluded because I didn't understand them. I didn't understand all the different Protestants, Baptists, Catholics, Jewish, Muslim. I didn't understand any of it because I didn't identify as a Buddhist because Buddhist is really almost isn't a religion to me. Buddhism is a way of life because uh, there's no ruler in Buddhism. It's a man named Buddha, and to me it just in my life, it wasn't something that, you gotta get to the temple, you gotta do this. It was more like an everyday practice. You wake up, you respect your parents, you respect yourself, you respect food, you respect living, you respect animals, you respect the earth, you respect your food. It's just how we're raised when we're young. A lot of Asian people will attest to that. And that might be why when you come to America, a lot of the opposite things are very, uh, you really want it. It's very like, oh, finally I get to do this. I can be myself. I can be like an American, say what I want. But as you get older, you realize that it's an illusion. You really can't say what you want. You can't really do what you want because you have to respect other people also and what they're up to and what it is they're doing, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on here that Buddhism in the long run comes to my aid in terms of respecting myself and respecting other people. One of my pet peeves growing up, raising my kids amongst a very suburban, rich lifestyle, was how many people were in church and how to define them. A lot of people would say in our baseball practice, I, I, I gotta get to church. I'm gonna be late. God's gonna punish me. I remember hearing stuff like that. Oh, I gotta get to church. I gotta be married in church. I gotta have. And all of it sounds great, but then you go out and disrespect what it is you did in church. Because God's gonna forgive you for all the bad you do. You still get to heaven, right? But that isn't really how it works. It's yourself that gets you to heaven. Because God's in you. So if you think God's going to be mad at you for getting to church late, then you're actually mad at yourself and you're causing that old karma in you, and that's what Cancer is. It's this hating of yourself, of this thing that you've been taught, that God's vengeful and the devil is going to take you down to hell. And so all these things are just symbolism for what you do to yourself. You punish yourself. So when I was feeling bad about doing things wrong, I got in my car accident. And that car accident woke me up. And this is kind of like that moment. The sun is in Gemini. And Gemini is the intelligent student that always wants to learn, so always curious. And can be annoying because we want to know, we're asking questions. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't have to tell you, it's my business. What do I have to tell you? And that's what Jupiter and Mercury in Cancer will be perpetuating. This, I gotta protect myself. I'm not gonna tell you anything. Mercury's gonna be very quiet here. Mercury will probably want to talk about being a mom, talk about food. These are the things that they'll probably be wanting to talk about more than say, my inner self, I believe that I was harmed, I was healed. And the inner child here is getting a chance to step out of being a victim and understanding that once you get to a certain age, you can't blame your parents anymore. It's on you. Probably starting around age 9. It's on you. If you have good parents, you know by age 9 what's right and wrong. If you don't, then you have to start to look outside of yourself and your family of why this isn't happening for you. Why don't you feel safe? Why don't you feel the love for yourself? Okay, and that's what astrology really helps you with. Therapy can help you, talking to someone can help you, but until you yourself go and look at your chart or do your research, deep dive into what's holding you back, you'll never heal that inner child. And Jupiter and Cancer can exacerbate that inner child. People could be saying, oh, it's your fault, it's not my fault. It's your fault. The past administration did this. I didn't do this. It's not my fault. So that's a telltale sign of someone who hasn't looked deeply into themselves and realized, hey, I have willpower. I can change my life. And that's what America offers you. But some of those privileges are in danger. especially right now, as Gemini can be confusing. And that's what the President of the United States right now, he's a Gemini, but he's a Mars, he's a Leo rising. We're Mars and Leo. And his Mars is getting ready to get to that exact conjunction of where his Mars at birth was and his ascendant. He has Mars and ascendant in Leo, the current President of the United States. So a lot of stuff's getting ready to hit the fan. And Sagittarius full moon is really going to come in and shine the light on you. And so be prepared and accept what comes your way. And know that you've been trying your hardest, because some of us are and have been trying our hardest to do the right thing and erase our family trauma. Because that's another thing Jupiter and Cancer is going to do, especially Mercury years, make you think about your childhood traumas. And we've been going through dealing with our childhood traumas for the past 10 years. And a lot of our poetry, a lot of the haikus, and a lot of the books that I've published in poetry-wise are dealing with that. And the other thing that's getting ready to happen is that Mars, when it gets ready to move, because it's been in this kind of opposite situation from Pluto while it's in Leo for a while, Mars versus Pluto will lose because Pluto is more powerful than Mars, because Pluto is still sitting at the same spot. It's been sitting in Aquarius for about 5 or 6 months. And Saturn will retrograde here, and Neptune will retrograde. Saturn, I believe, retrogrades in September and wakes back up in February, or that could be Neptune, I'm not sure, but the thing is that when the outer planets are involved, collectively we all feel it. Just like when the moon is involved, we collectively feel it, because the moon is a way of looking at how the collective is feeling today. Like today it's Libra. Today's a happy day with Libra moon. And Libra again is ruled by Venus. So it's a happy time, especially with Venus moving into Taurus, her home sign. So we have some help from the universe here in terms of if we can accept help and if we can heal ourselves through this help, through our own meditation, through talking to someone that you truly trust, then you can benefit from this Jupiter in Cancer. And you can benefit from the Venus in Taurus. And you can Venus from Chiron and Mars' sister, Arizina, to heal yourself and to let go of that child that was scared and didn't know what to do. But the other big thing that I have to talk about is, I almost forgot, is that Uranus is also still in Taurus, as Venus is there now also. Uranus now, this coming week, is at 28 or 29 degrees, the anaretic degrees of where I was born, the anaretic degrees at this last bit of a sign. So what's going to happen is that Uranus is going to square Mars in Leo. Because Leo is at 27, 28 degrees, and Uranus is sitting there waiting for Mars to square it. This will be an explosive day. Because again, as Uranus has been in Taurus, we've seen all the things happening to the Earth, right? And with Venus coming in here, Venus is going to try to help the Earth to heal. But Uranus has been making all these angles, and it really is a shock jock. Things can happen there that we have no idea is what's going to happen, right? So with Mars squaring, Mars again is ruled by the Sun right now in Leo. and Uranus is ruled by Venus, and Venus happens to be there, right? So the Sun and Venus having a square, and the Venus is the second planet from the Sun, and Mercury right now is a night star, just came out of the heart of the Sun, the Cazimi, last week, and it's been causing all kinds of problems. Because I remember I was talking to you last week about how the electromagnetic field of the world is getting very volatile. And there's been many, many minor earthquakes all over the globe that are like 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. Once it gets up to 0.5, all the scientists are alerted. And I have a feeling because Mars is in a fire sign and Uranus is in an earth sign. And there's been this prediction from the Thai Nostradamus in Thailand. She has predicted many things. She's predicted that there's going to be a tsunami and it's going to come from volcanic activity underwater. And that is something Stefan Burns has been pointing out with the last earthquake in Sicily that is right near one of the biggest volcanic activity underwater, and how close it is to there. And we've had earthquakes in Turkey. We've had many. There's been a lot of flooding, and the core of the earth is very warm, and things are happening. It's hurricane season. We're getting ready to go into the summer solstice, June 21st, as we go into Cancer season. And Cancer season is a water sign, and Taurus is in an earth sign that's fixed, and Mars is in a fire sign that's fixed. And then Cancer is a world access point with Mercury and Jupiter there. And Jupiter's going to be there, pretty close to that access point for a lot of this month. So there could be a volcanic eruption. There's already one in Hawaii. Yesterday, another one started. Stefan Burns talked about that. Another one started yesterday. Mount Etna again in Sicily erupted, which is a historic event. So I really want to caution people. I'm not trying to be doomsday-ish, but I do feel, and I have felt it for about a year or two, and that's one of the reasons I moved to Florida, is that something's happening with the Earth to where the heat is so much, and we're not slowing down with our rocket ships, with our launching of satellites, with our gasoline, and now we're bringing back coal, and we're cutting off help for FEMA, for disaster relief. We're cutting off food from children. We're in a situation in Gaza. So really be aware and pay attention to your surroundings this week into really the rest of the time now coming up. And be prepared, have things ready. We're always on alert in Florida, and that's another reason I moved down here, was because whatever's happening down here is just a tiny part of what's getting ready to happen to the world. So if you can get used to the heat, you can get used to sweating. It's good for you if you can sweat, but we don't want the temperature to get so high that fungus can grow in our body like the last of us. We don't want to spread diseases when there's no AC and everyone's dirty and walking around unwashed and all the fungus can blow. So I'll leave you with that. Otherwise, it's a good time emotionally and personally to really lift yourself up and be prepared for whatever could happen. Okay? And thank you again to all my subscribers, to my followers. Please leave a message. And to my spiritual children, I love you. I see you guys out there doing all kinds of stuff. I appreciate that a lot. I love it. I will talk to you next week. Oh, and to my friend, great job getting out of the hospital. You're going to be healed in no time. Thank you. I appreciate you. Bye.